You ever stop to think about memory? Well, not your memory, but a website's memory. How does it seem to remember who you are or what you like? It's this quiet little idea that completely transformed the internet, and today we're going to unpack how it all works.
I mean, think about it. You're shopping online, you add something to your cart, you click around a few more pages, and it's still there, right? Or when you log into a site and it greets you by name. That is not an accident. That right there, that's a website with a memory. It's what we call a dynamic experience. And it's the huge difference between the web today and how it started. So how does this all happen? Well, the secret is actually laid out in guides just like this one, which teach the fundamentals of building what are called dynamic websites. We're going to dive into the core ideas from this source to really see how it all clicks together. So let's jump in right at the very beginning.
So way back when the web was first invented by Tim Berners-Lee, it was amazing, right? A totally new way to share information. But the pages themselves were, well, they were static. Think of them like digital paper. The key thing was everyone who visited a page saw the exact same thing every single time. It was brilliant, but it was also, as the source material points out, pretty dry and plain. It was missing a memory.
Okay, so this is the key idea right here, the difference between static and dynamic. A static site, it's basically a flyer you get in the mail. It is the same for absolutely everyone. But a dynamic site, now that's more like a personal assistant. It can change things up based on who you are, what you've done before, even what time of day it is. And one of the most important tools that makes this happen is a language called PHP. So, where does all this magic actually happen? You might think it's in your browser, right on the stage in front of you, but nope. The real work happens backstage, on a really powerful computer we call a server. Okay, so this is basically how the internet talks to itself. Your browser, which we call the client, sends a request out to a web server. Now, for a plain old static page, the server just grabs the file and sends it over. Easy. But for a dynamic page, something really important happens on that server before it sends anything back to you. And that extra step, you guessed it, it's PHP. It's known as a server-side language, which sounds complicated, but all it really means is that it's a set of instructions that runs on the server computer. It's like the brain. It figures out what to do and literally builds a brand new custom HTML page just for you right on the spot. Then, and only then, does the server send that finished, personalized page over to your browser. Okay, but wait a second. How does PHP know what to build? It can't just guess your name or what you put in your shopping cart, right? Well, to do its job, it needs to have a little conversation with the website's memory. And that memory is a database. A super common one is called MySQL. And here's a great way to think about it. PHP is the chef, and the MySQL database is the pantry full of all the ingredients. So when you ask for a page, the chef, PHP, runs to the pantry, grabs your specific ingredients, your name, your profile picture, those shoes in your cart, and whips up a fresh web page made to order just for you. Of course, PHP isn't a solo act. It's really part of a team. You've got HTML, which is like the skeleton of the page. Then you have CSS, which is the style, the clothes, the design, the look and feel. MySQL, that's the memory holding all the data. And PHP, it's the brain that brings it all together on the server to make what you actually see on your screen. And this team, wow, it's a powerhouse. This combination is the engine behind a huge part of the modern web. A big reason it got so popular, especially with places like early Facebook or all those blogs built on WordPress, is that it was simple and fast. It let people build stuff and make changes really, really quickly. And that's exactly what you need when you're growing. It's behind so many sites you probably use every single day. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. The word code can sound a little intimidating, but honestly, at its heart, PHP is way simpler than you'd think. It's really just text. Just words written in a special way that a server can understand. Let's take a quick look. So any file that needs to use that server brain is just a plain old text file that ends with .php. That's it. And inside the file, you just write your normal HTML, but then you can open up these little special tags and start writing PHP instructions, embedding the logic right where you need it. So for example, here's the classic first program pretty much everyone learns. That little command echo, it's just telling the server, hey, put the text hello world right here in the HTML before you send it out. That's literally all it is, a simple instruction written in plain text. But here, this is where it gets really cool. You can ask PHP to actually do something for you. In this example from the source, instead of just printing out text that we wrote, we're telling it to run a function called date. The server figures out what day it is right now and sticks that into the HTML. So if you visit the page on a Monday, it says Monday. Visit on a Tuesday, it says Tuesday. The code itself never changes, but the web page does. That is the magic of dynamic content. So seeing that, you might be getting a little curious, right? Maybe thinking you want to try it yourself. And the best part is your first step doesn't have to be some huge, complicated thing. It can be super, super simple.
Seriously, you could do this right now. Just open up any plain text editor, type out that one little line of code, and save the file as test.php. Now, the final piece of the puzzle is getting it onto a web server that speaks PHP. That's the part that actually processes the instructions and makes it all happen. But the part you do, the actual writing of the code, it's really that easy.
The real idea to hold on to is this. Everything from a tiny line of code that says hello all the way up to a massive social network. It's all built from these exact same core ideas. It's all just text, written one instruction at a time. And now, you get it. You really understand how one of the first and most important of those instructions actually works.